This is Reframe, the podcast from the College of Education, Health, and Society on the campus of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. In this episode, we look at a project that explores the African American experience through a literary genre and an art form that, at first, may seem like an unlikely source for the kind of deep and critical cultural analyses that, according to an EHS expert, could lead to social change for all. There's a picture book called Ruth and the Green Book, and it's not the kind of story usually associated with children's literature. Do you know about the Green Book?
Most people don't. And it's a fictional story, but it's based on this actual Green Book. And if you go down to the Underground Railroad Museum in Cincinnati, you can see one of the Green Books. I don't know if you can actually touch it, but you can actually see it.
That's Dr. Brenda Dales, Miami University EHS lecturer and one of the leading experts on the entire genre of children's literature. And in this particular children's book, young Ruth travels south on a cross-country road trip where she encounters racism for the first time. Along the way, her family is turned away from hotels and refused service at gas stations until a friend gives them the Green Book, which guides them safely between the places that welcome African Americans. Ruth in the Green Book speaks openly about discrimination, Jim Crow laws, the realities of 1950s America, and all in a way that makes a very difficult subject easy for children to understand. It's also one of the books that Dr. Dales has highlighted in her recent class, African American Children's Book Art, which shines a bright light on many of these critical cultural issues.
That's definitely like a lens for social justice to see some of these stories that we don't hear. And my students are telling me, all of my students in that class have mentioned at some point, why didn't we read these books when we were young? Why isn't this stuff in the textbooks?
The reason, at least in part, is due to the whitewashed nature of various systems and institutions that have historically underrepresented certain perspectives. And the questions raised by Dr. Dales' students are part of a socially conscious line of inquiry that not only highlights the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, but also the importance of an entire genre that can be far more personal and more reflective than most people realize. In a lot of ways, children's literature has transcended many of the stereotypes that still define it. Today, it often channels deeper cultural signifiers that reflect and chronicle battles for equality, such as moments of turbulent political change, the profound need for continual progress, and more. And throughout her recent class, Dr. Dales and her students have explored texts and art that cover the history of the Civil Rights Movement, the Harlem Renaissance, slavery and emancipation, and the struggle for modern racial identity construction, among others. This content has also generated 3 separate lines of original student research, which explores the absence of LBGQT themes and characters in children's books, the use of collage art as a distinct expression of African American culture, and how African American illustrated children's books can even be a lens for social justice. All 3 projects were recently featured at the 24th Annual Miami University Undergraduate Research Forum, and as part of a national conference at the Miami University Art Museum, where Dr. Dales' class also runs in conjunction with the spring 2018 exhibition called Telling a People's Story, African American Children's Illustrated Literature.
There's just so much available in children's literature, from joke books to real serious books to, there's just such a variety and a variety of forms and, graphic novels and poetry and so many different topics. It's just so vast that most people don't really understand what it is. There's books that are just fun and silly, but they're real serious books too. And it's not only just the words, it's the images as well.
And because of her collaboration with the Art Museum, her emphasis on diversity and equality, and the interdisciplinary approach that combined EHS along with Miami's College of Creative Arts and the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Dales will also receive a brand new award. The very first ever Beyond Boundaries, Intercultural Perspectives and Interdisciplinary Teaching Award. And according to Dr. Shelley Jarrett Bromberg, Miami University Director of Liberal Education, this award exemplifies what she believes more Miami courses can achieve.
I see it as our opportunity to start to talk about race and critical race theory, to discuss what we mean by intersectionality, to talk about some of the issues that we may even feel a little uncomfortable with. And I see that designation and those courses as a great way of sort of underscoring what President Crawford wants to do as far as talking about all of these issues. There's a lot happening at Miami, like Brenda's class, that we just need to just draw a little more attention to some of this really remarkable work. I mean, that's just remarkable.